Let's get this show on the road. I think we will call up to stage Michael Bird to start us off.
So I'm wearing a cowboy hat, sort of. Actually, it's an Australian Outback hat, but it's closest I have to a cowboy hat for a reason. So I'm going to do some cowboy music. Actually, it's sort of cowboy music, country western, I guess. So Willie Nelson put out an album a long time ago called Red-Headed Stranger, which is one of his most popular, famous albums. And I'm going to play several songs from that album, sort of telling the story of the Red-Headed Stranger. And it's sort of a putrid, awful story, I got to admit. So I added something. And if you're familiar with the album, you'll know what I added, but I ain't going to tell you. But I just realized I need a capo. Actually, Vi, could you do me a favor, please? I don't need it right now, but at some point, quick, run in the back and out of my guitar case, get a capo. All right. Hey, there's one there. Oh, it's a fancy one I don't know how to use. All right, I'm going to get going now. All right. It was the time of the preacher when the story began of the choice of a lady and the love of a man. Oh, he loved her so dearly, he went out of his mind when she left him for someone that she'd left behind. He cried like a baby, he screamed like a panther in the middle of the night, and he saddled his pony and he went for a ride. It was the time of the preacher in the year of '01. Now the preaching is over and the lesson's begun. I'm an old woman named after my mother. My old man's another child that's grown old. If dreams were thunder and lightning was desire, this old house would have burned down long ago. Make me an angel, flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to. Believing this living is just a hard way to go. When I was a young girl, well, I had me a cowboy. He weren't much good to look at, just a free rambling man. But that was a long time, and no matter how I tried, the years just flow by like a broken down dam. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to. To believe in this living is just a hard way to go. There's flies in the kitchen, I can hear them buzzing. and I ain't done nothing since I woke up today. How the hell can a person go to work in the morning, come home in the evening, and have nothing to say? Just make me an angel, flies from Montgomery. Just make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to. To believe in this living is just a hard way to go. Thank you. That's the song I added. So that's from her point of view. Last night I came home and I knocked on my door. Knocked and I knocked like I often had before. Knocked and I knocked, but no answer there came. No kisses to greet me, no voice called my name. And I couldn't believe it was true, oh Lord, I couldn't believe it was true. My eyes filled with tears, I must have aged 10 years, and I couldn't believe it was true. My shock was so great, I'm quivering yet. I try to forgive, but I cannot forget. My heartbreaking loss is another man's gain. Her happiness always, I hope, will remain. And I couldn't believe it was true, oh Lord, I couldn't believe it was true. My eyes filled with tears, and I must have aged 10 years, and I couldn't believe it was true. Thank you. But he could not forgive her. Oh, he tried and he tried, he tried. What was that all about? In the halls of his memories still echoed her lies. He cried like a baby. He screamed like a panther in the middle of the night. And he saddled his pony and he went for a ride. It was the time of the preacher in the year of '01. Now the preaching is over and the killing's begun. He rode into Blue Rock, dusty and tired. And got him a room for the night. He lay there in silence, too much on his mind, still hoping that he was not right. But he found them that evening in a tavern in town, in a quiet little out-of-the-way place. And they smiled at each other as he walked through the door. And they died with the smiles on their faces. They died with the smiles on their face. Don't cross him, don't boss him. He's wild in his sorrow. He's riding, hiding his pain. Don't fight him, don't spite him. Just wait till tomorrow, and maybe ride on again. Thank you. In the twilight glow, I see her, blue eyes crying in the rain. When we kissed goodbye and parted, I knew we'd never meet again. Someday when we meet up yonder, we'll stroll hand in hand again. Through the ages, I'll remember blue eyes crying in the rain. Someday when we meet up yonder, we'll stroll hand in hand again. In the land that knows no parting, blue eyes crying in the rain. Blue eyes crying in the rain. Thank you. The red-headed stranger from Blue Rock, Montana, rode into town one day, and under his knees was a raging black stallion, and prospering behind was a bay. The red-headed stranger had eyes like thunder, his lips they were sad and tied, for this was the horse that his little lost darling had ridden when she was his wife. Don't cross him, don't boss him, he's wild in his sorrow, he's riding and hiding his pain. Don't fight him, don't spite him, just wait till tomorrow, and maybe you'll ride on again. The yellow-haired lady leaned out of her window and watched as he passed her way. He drew back in fear at the sight of the stallion and cast greedy eyes on the bay. Now how could she know that this dancing bay pony meant more to him than life? For this was the horse that his little lost darling had ridden when she was his wife. Don't cross him, don't boss him, he's wild in his sorrow, he's riding and hiding his pain. Don't fight him, don't spite him, just wait till tomorrow, and maybe you'll ride on again. The yellow-haired lady came down to the tavern and walked up to the stranger there. He bought her a drink, gave her some money, he just didn't seem to care. She followed him out as he saddled the stallion and laughed as she grabbed at the bay. He shot her so quick they had now time to warn her she'd never heard anyone say. Don't cross him, don't boss him, he's wild in his sorrow, he's riding and hiding his pain. Don't fight him, don't spite him, wait till tomorrow, and maybe he'll ride on again. The yellow-haired lady was buried at sunset. The stranger went free, of course. You can't hang a man for killing a woman who's trying to steal your horse. Now this is the tale of the red-headed stranger, and if he should pass your way, stay out of the path of the raging black stallion, and don't lay a hand on the bay. Don't cross him, don't boss him, he's wild in his sorrow, he's riding and hiding his pain. Don't fight him, don't spite him, just wait till tomorrow, and maybe he'll ride on again. Thank you. That's the red-headed stranger. The story goes on, but that's all I'm going to tell.
Yeah, it's not a lot of. I don't get a lot of opportunities to teach Patricia how to waltz, so it's nice to hear some of those cowboy songs. Well, let's move right along. We got a bunch of people on the list, especially if you count all the individual members of the band here. Then we have tons of people on the list. So let's call up to stage Pamela Walters to read some poetry for us.
Good evening. I'd like to thank my friends for coming and supporting me tonight. Thank you. It's fun to have already met a new friend over there at the table. We had an interesting discussion about poetry. We both are trying to figure out what it really is. And the opinions sure vary, don't they? Rhyming poetry is not really very popular, but I could tell you it's very difficult. It's difficult not to sound trite and silly. It's difficult to find interesting words. That's one thing about rap, isn't it? Right? Some of the rap is pretty brilliant. And so I can't claim that I'm brilliant, and I won't. But I hope that you enjoy it. I'd like to read a few poems I've recently written, very recently. They're a sample of the serious as well as humorous poems I hope you can enjoy and connect with. The first one's called A Duck in Winter. I have 4 ducks at home. Their antics and zest for living never cease to entertain. One of the wonders is observing them in their natural element of water. Ducks will splash in the tub any time of year. This one was written yesterday. Every duck must have her day, heedless of breath-choking chill, swift to snatch her polar play, regarded as a gourmet thrill. Mystery looms within her mind, flapping wings and dipping low. Are such temperatures benign? Is she queen upon her throne? Basins overflowing joys she intends to dominate. While the waiting line stands by, her intentions clearly state. Others have to wait a while, disinclined to lose their place, relishing her lush boudoir, flaunting in her leisure pace. When she leaps out of her tub, time for a feather manicure, murmurs while she checks her gown, spreads rich oil, smooths down coiffure. I've no wish to do the same. Icy bath I'd keep at bay. Baffling to human mind, why every duck must have her day. The second one's called Saving the Apples. I wrote it on December 29th. Sometimes we have complex relationships with our parents. Dad belonged to the generation of fathers who weren't known for showing affection, appreciation, or feelings. Their inner selves often were basically hidden. I was Dad's son before I became my husband's wife. Our favorite apples on the farm were the Harrelsons, late to ripen, sweet and sour at the same time. My father's name just happened to be Harold. Saving the Apples. In the dead of night, I heard my father's voice vibrate through the silence of the hallway between bedrooms. Softly my name was called in his customary commanding tone. Night owl that I was still awake. What could anyone possibly want at this time of night? It was late November, and sleet-driven snow glazed the fields and driveway of the farm. Go out and pick those apples before it's too late. I sighed, but dressed. Together we walked down to the end of the lawn bordering the gravel township road. There by the illumination of Dad's flashlight, the Harrelsons hung inviting and ripe. dangling like red Christmas ornaments, bobbing in the wind on leafless branches. We gathered them at midnight. We saved those apples, known for being simultaneously sour and sweet. How often have I opened that page in the book of memory to retrieve a distant and faint recollection, bearing an aura both intangible and remote. Though the Harrelsons are not noted for storing well or long, the memory of my father's voice has been stored well and long in my mental bank for half a century. It's only now that I can understand a father who counted on my faithful obedience, a father who lay awake thinking his solitary thoughts, thoughts never shared, leaked out during unexpected occasions. My father, the farm, the apple tree are only memories, chronicling the solitary and meditative childhood of my youth. But in my imagination, I spring up to fulfill one more of his commands, and he tells me his thoughts he keeps reserved to himself, being wise enough to share only the ones he knows won't make me cry. This one's called My Sweetheart. I raise cattle. Since I began farming, losing instead of making money is expected and acceptable. It is probably because I care more for animals and the freedom to feel independent and in league with nature than I care for money. My Sweetheart, December 27th. I watch the ground carefully as I pass between the cattle who are licking up the last remnants of the ground feed. They eye me with a low level of wariness. They know me well. There is nothing to fear from one who has never harmed them. Young fall calves gambol away with spirited skittering. They recoil at my voice. Their eyes are guarded, assessing my presence. Trudging over frozen snow and manure, I make my way toward the old crippled cow with the leathery frozen ears, standing with her pained leg askance while I conceal a container of corn under my torn, long black coat. She has abandoned the effort of competing with her feasting fellows. Their jostling and aggression would only weaken her balance. She sees me. Her gaze is serene, peaceful, and filled with recognition. I step towards her, uttering sweet tones of encouragement and reassurance. She is the matronly mistress of the cattle yard, the grande dame of dignity. Her eyes are liquid marbles of ebony trust. Her tongue is forceful, narrowly pushing me over. Her appetite is zealous, her appreciation without words. She's my wild child, bottle-fed from her youth. I am her protector and guardian, sister, mother, and friend. She goes by no name. Her name has long been forgotten. She is a reigning sweetheart on a farm that resembles a nonprofit animal sanctuary more than a business. She will live out her days in as much comfort as can be provided. Nature will eventually take its course, and she will pass away in pastures of peace. On the day when I realize what has happened, I will say a requiem to her God and mine. Meeting the poet. This open mic session hardly compares to attending a poetry reading session with the hoity-toity audience of the elite. What is it like to be in the wrong place with the wrong people? Ooh. December 26th. This is one of these things, I'm not sure this is poetry or what. I'm not sure. Maybe it doesn't matter. I felt out of place in the crowd of sophisticates, all sipping martinis while discussing their latest travels to Europe and the fact that their spouses just landed another promotion. The conversations included details of how their golf game was going and that they just replaced their old Lexus with a new model that fits nicely in their 3-car garage. Still, I took courage and decided to persevere, even though I knew I didn't belong in this setting. I told myself I'd be safe if I had the sense to smile broadly, but maintain a cool reserve, while making a mental check not to open my mouth unless I was spoken to. Keeping one's mouth shut isn't all that easy for a naturally inquisitive person who seeks to satisfy a naturally curious bent. Midway through the reading, I gazed over the top of well-coiffed heads for exits on the way to a feigned bathroom break, but decided it was too embarrassing to make one's way through the barricade of crossed legs while murmuring apologies. Following what, in my humble opinion, seemed to be a befuddling exercise covering an assortment of esoteric topics, The reading concluded to the sound of appreciative applause. Though wisdom whispered that I should unobtrusively depart before I revealed myself as the gauche ignoramus I was, my insistent desire for insight propelled me to linger until members of the audience had finished their martinis and concluded their chat with the poet, uttering words of admiration, gushing while they presented credit cards for copies of his latest work. Alone and exposed in front of the author of gibberish, standing like a solitary candidate for execution, I assumed a self-assured manner and inquired as to the intent of his last poem. He looked at me with a mixture of exasperation and controlled patience. "Don't ask me what it means," he snapped. "It can mean anything you want it to. Frankly, I have no idea what it means. After 3 or 4 drinks of vodka at a party, I came home and penned the entire thing nonstop during a stroke of inspiration. That's all you need to know." He smiled coldly and turned his back. Maybe I found his poems totally incomprehensible, but one thing was crystal clear. His parting shot was a dismissal. My smile bored into the back of his immaculate suit coat. I had succeeded in getting under his skin. I recently retired. I'd like to read my last poem. It's called Retirement, January 1st. What a great way to start the new year. Defy the alarm clock's reading. Challenge it to come and get you. Lie in bed and savor the warmth under the covers. Luxuriate with impunity. Play possum and feign to yourself that you're sleeping. Pretend your silence fools the pets who are waiting for you downstairs. Get up when you have decided you've had enough pretending. Wear the same clothes you wore yesterday and the day before. Wriggle into worn-out, ragged underwear and pile on an oversized sweatshirt and baggy blue jeans. Ignore what is in vogue for the season of fashion. Turn the mirror towards the wall. Remember, old is actually vintage. Let your hair go straight. Hide it under a hat. Apply a ton of makeup and laugh like a teenager. Defy anyone to spy on your foolishness. Admit you are the star of your own make-believe play. Wipe off the eyeshadow and mascara you just put on and shrug. Take out the cereal you always eat, pile on raisins and cashews, while finding your place in the book you finally got around to reading. Follow breakfast up with chocolate ice cream. Call the dog to lick the bowl. Examine the dishes in the sink and cover them up so they can't be seen. Soak your feet while deleting cell phone clutter. Scream your frustrations and opinions at screens of modern technology. Ridicule so-called geniuses and politicians who screw up our lives. Proclaim your independence from all the stuff you never grew up with. Call a friend, call family, converse without checking the time. Evaluate your home decor. Get ambitious. Rest your feet first. Jump on the bike, cruise around the neighborhood looking for butterflies. Revel in the beauty of things you never had time to appreciate. Arrive home from the bike ride. Jump in bed with your shoes on. Get up when you're finally bored with laying down at the wrong time of day. Go downstairs, talk to the dog, feed the cat that's never satisfied. Snoop in the refrigerator. Consider what's for supper. Call out for a pizza. Reflect on all the people commuting to their jobs, prisoners of the rat race called making a living. People tied up in knots over the dilemma of how to manage everything else that needs doing besides work. Pity those caught up in traffic day in and day out. Identify with those who are pushed to the limits expected of them. These are the people living like you were before you decided no more.
Hey little girl, is your dad at home? Did he go and leave you all alone? Oh, I got a bad desire. Ooh, I'm on fire. Tell me now, baby, is he good to you? Can he do all the things that I won't do? Oh, I can take you higher. Oh, I'm on fire. Sometimes like someone took a knife edge and dull and cut a 6-string valley through the middle of a skull. Oh. At night I wake up with the sheets soaking wet and a freight train running through the middle of my head. Only you can cool my desire. Oh, I'm on fire. Oh, I'm on fire. Oh, I'm on fire. I'm not good enough of a guitar player for this next one, so this one's called Blue Coupe. Ready? Go ahead. Take everything you have in front of you, make every movement, do it to the groove. You never bother at all if you're working. And what would be the point if you didn't deserve it? 8 long months later, I feel better. I've been trying to recompress some things that tend to mess me up. They always mess me up. And you were never conscious of all of the good that surrounds you. Oh, well, I wake up to the rhythm of the city and I try to remember. Even my brothers have some trouble with each other. Sometimes things fall apart the way that it is. It's the way that it is. Still, and I might, you have to suffer. You were never an example of someone who was giving up. You're never giving up. And you had all the options, you probably needed someone around you. Oh, and even when you split me up, grooving to the sound of laughter. And if I listen to it closely, I can still hear all the sounds of your heart. Every time I look at the skyline, it makes me feel better. 'Cause I just miss you down here where the other people try and move on. And now you're a star, the way that things are, the way that it is. You're driving that car. Oofda. All right, a little bit of a story time. It was the teen showcase event here in January. Excuse me. A guy by the name of Mark Munson came by to check things out, and all I was told was that he left feeling inspired. That next summer, I heard word that there was a new music camp starting up in Brainerd, School of Rock essentially, and their goal was to model not only the Little Falls but the St. Cloud programs, and just try and make something. And Mark, he was diagnosed with cancer long before that, and basically he threw this huge party and got a ton of people to come, got a ton of money raised, and a lot of it went to the School of Rock program, and he just built it from the ground up himself. He got all of his friends, who were all musicians as well. This guy was a fantastic musician. Got all of his friends to come help, and a lot of them were staff members. And it was another open mic night, I think, or it might have been a dinner theater where I saw him, and he threw the pitch out that I come and be an instructor. And I had never thought of teaching music in like a band scenario. I didn't think I'd ever get that opportunity. So he made it through the camp. I mean, it was a fantastic camp. A lot of the kids I could just see were very inspired by him and his story and his passion for music. And that final concert was probably one of the top 5 best musical experiences I've had in my life. He was very instrumental in cementing that I want to keep doing this, not only being a musician, but an educator. And he passed away, and I guess I'm just here to pass on that a lot of people can do good things. You just gotta find what you're good at and inspire others. My condolences are out to the Munson family, Wyatt, and everybody else that his family and friends. This one's called Skyway. Skyway doesn't move at all like a subway. Got bones when it's cold like any other place. Swarm up inside, sitting down and waiting for a ride to take the Skyway. Doesn't move at all like a subway. Lovers when it's cold like any other place. It's warm up inside, sitting down and waiting for a ride to take the Skyway. The Skyway doesn't weave at all like a subway. Doesn't wanna be yours any day. Swarm up inside, sitting down and waiting for a ride to take the Skyway. Skyway, Skyway, Skyway. Thanks, guys.
So let's move it along. We got we're gonna welcome to the stage for the first time since I've been here, which is just a handful of months, but we'll welcome her to the stage nonetheless. We got Lindsay Derry. Stand, chair, just mic.
Hi. How do you make it lower? Thank you. Hi. Does anyone here work at Walmart? Oh, what's your name? Madeline. Okay. The story I'm about to tell is not about Madeline. Okay. So the other night, my husband needed some bootlaces for his boots for the next day at work. So I went to Walmart, and I hate Walmart because I buy too much. I buy way too much, and I get lost, literally lost in the aisles. I don't know what happens, but I went for bootlaces, and I came home, and I had like 10 bags. And then I made dinner, and it was a big, big, big dinner. And I suddenly said to my husband while I was doing the dishes, "Why do I have all these cucumbers? And where are your bootlaces?" So I called Walmart and I said, "Do you have a bag with bootlaces?" And they said, "Yes, we have a bag with 2 bootlaces and another shoelace and hummus." And I said, "That's why I had all those cucumbers, the hummus, yes. Okay, I'll be there soon." So I went back to Walmart, which I hate. I hate going to Walmart. But I was there again, and by the way, it was like when it was, God, how cold was it? I don't know. It was so cold. So I put on snow pants. I just, and boots and a coat, and I went back to Walmart. And there was no one at the courtesy desk, so I called a cashier over, not Madeline. And I said, "I left my bag with 3 shoelaces and hummus. Could I get it?" She said, "Where can I see your receipt?" No, I didn't bring my receipt, and it's very cold outside, but I can tell you exactly what kind of shoelaces there are. There's dark brown shoelaces that are 72 inches long. There's tan bootlaces that are 72 inches long. And there's bright orange shoelaces that my son wanted that are 45 inches long. Please, can I have my stuff? Okay. So she went back, and she came out with a very empty-looking bag. And she said, "I can give you the shoelaces because you described them perfectly, but I cannot give you the hummus because it wasn't in the bag with the shoelaces. You'll have to come back with your receipt." I said, "Do you think I magically knew there was hummus back there? It's my hummus. Can I have my hummus? Please, I have all these cucumbers." And she said, "I'm sorry, you're going to have to come back with your receipt." I said, "I'm not running some side hustle here trying to pick up extra dips or condiments. I don't randomly leave bags and come and say, 'I left highlighters and some Rima paper and sriracha sauce.' I don't make up just condiments and dips. Can I have my hummus, please?" When I talked to the woman on the phone, I bet she just took it out to see what was in the bag. It's my hummus. The rest of the conversation didn't go well. I left Walmart yelling, "Fine, eat my hummus. Just eat it. I'll just eat cucumbers plain." I was there for so long that I called my friend Melissa, who's here tonight, very late at night, just so upset about hummus. And then I was like, "I'm sorry I woke you up so late. I didn't realize it was so late," but anyway. So, I'm the mother of 2 boys. So naturally, that's all I talk about is my boys. So here goes. I have 2 boys. And kids are awesome because they say really funny things. Like, just, I'm always wanting to post it on Facebook what my kids said. But they also say really embarrassing things. Like when you're in a buffet line behind a very large woman and her beeper goes off. Beep, 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 beep. And your kid says, "Look out, Mom, she's backing up!" No. Or when you're in church and it's one of those quiet parts during the Catholic Mass and you're holding your little guy, snuggling, and everything's nice and peaceful, and he pulls away from you and says, "Mommy, I love your pillows." And then everyone's snorting. And all the teenagers here, if you feel like your parents are embarrassing, I now know it's revenge. I'm already plotting it. I have it ready to go. So, when I found out I was pregnant, I was so scared because well, to be honest, here's the truth. Apart from loving my kids a lot, I'm a terrible mother. And I knew right away I'd be a terrible mother because I can't take care of myself pretty much. And I've killed all my plants and I've killed a few animals, and my sweet husband would tell you I've also killed a man. That's another story for another night. Tragic, but actually quite comical. Really sad. But anyway, so I naturally, because I'm a crazy reader, started reading parenting book after parenting book after parenting book. And every parenting book, like, they have completely opposing opinions on what you should do. They don't complement each other at all. And every parenting book I read was like, oh, shoot, my kids are screwed. Every parenting book. Until I came across Bringing Up Bebe. Has anyone read it? No? It's about how to raise your kids the French way. Chapter 1. You want your children to be very inventive. How do you make them have a huge imagination? Easy. Ignore them. Don't just ignore them. Make them so bored they have to use their imagination to come up with something to do. And I read this first chapter of this book, and I said, oh, I can do this. I can ignore my kids. I can. And I'm really good at it. We'll be driving along, and I'm not even driving. I'm in the passenger seat doing nothing. And my husband says, Lindsay, you do know Sean's talking to you right now. Like, right now, he's talking to you. Huh? I'm really good at ignoring my kids. And I have these weird visions of them inventing something, like, really cool, and being like, yeah, I did that. I ignored the crap out of them. That was me. Yep. I take all that. Yep, on me. Anyway, next chapter. Don't childproof your house. No problem. Survival of the fittest. I got that down. I mean, I made this book my Bible, Bringing Up Bebe. It's a good parenting book. You gotta do it. Next chapter. Your kids are very frustrated. They need a space to, just be frustrated, have their own emotions. Pick a closet, pick a bathroom, pick somewhere where they can go and they can just punch things or swear. So I told my kids, you can go in the bathroom and just swear all you want. I mean, I'm going to follow this book to a T. If I'm doing something, I do it all in. So I'd pass the bathroom and I'd listen in, and Sean would be in there. Sean really got into this. He'd be all, crap. Pickles. And I'd be like, oh, it's so cute. He doesn't even know swear words. Oh. Well, then one day, I went to daycare to pick him up. And all the kids are outside playing, and Sean's at a table. Sean, what happened? What happened? I was in the bathroom, and she came in, and I just was talking, and she said I was talking bad words, and I said you said I could swear in the bathroom all I wanted. And she called me a liar, and I'm not a liar. I'm not a liar. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. Family friendly. Sorry. Shoot. So then, Teresa, our lovely daycare lady, I went in the bathroom to help your son with his pants, and things came out of his mouth that I haven't heard. And I was just like, he knows how to swear. He knows the words. He doesn't just say pickles. I was really excited. Honestly, I kind of wanted to be there. I wanted to hear this, but she said, and he said that you said he could do that in the bathroom. I was like, it's a French thing. It's just a French thing. Oh, I didn't know you were French. Let's go. Anyway, so you're ignoring your children. Your children are frustrated by you ignoring them, and they're in closets and bathrooms cursing. What are you doing with your time? Well, bringing up Bebe has like chapters devoted to what the mom does with her time. Clearly, you are cooking 7-course meals. And honestly, that was like, yes! When I was reading this book, I was like, yes, I can do that. It was the best parenting book ever because, no matter how screwed up my kids are, I can say I followed that book to a T. Anyway, but it talked about how you should get your kids involved and all this stuff, and you don't want them to be picky eaters, so you're making all these courses, and they have lots to choose from. And Sean's a great eater, he is. And Oliver really got into cooking from a very young age, and of course you give them sharp knives and let them help, because survival of the fittest, no childproofing, just let it happen. So, Oliver's really into cooking. He's like 3. Weird things happen when your kids get into cooking. So you get invited out to dinner, and he's like, Mom, is this it? Oliver. Mom, it's all the same color. Oliver! Shh, shh. Mom, there's no vegetable. What is this? What? And you're just like, oh my God. And then you have really weird conversations where you're like, yes, Oliver, I know you like your filet mignon extra rare, but please don't pee in Mommy's hat. Just don't do it. And how you can have a conversation about filet mignon being rare and peeing in your hat, I don't know. But, when they're potty training, they just pee everywhere. They peed in the dryer. I stopped Sean just in time from peeing on his brother's head. It was really not a good situation. I had a pot full of rice one day, and they peed in that. I don't know. But I would highly recommend Bringing Up Bebe. It's a good book. And thank you.
Okay, hello. Today I have a very special guest. You might have seen her on stages such as the Great River Art Stage, Lindsay Derry. Yay. I can do an intro if you want. Okay, so I asked Lindsay to join me because I don't speak Spanish. And I don't speak Spanish, but I do speak English. And I wanted to read a poem. And Rhonda's here. She could do it at the same time if she wants. But yeah, and I was looking at all the different translations, and then I was like, this could really use a Spanish speaker. So this is by Antonio Machado, and it's called
Caminante no hay camino. Caminante, Son tus huellas y camino y nada más. Caminante, no hay camino. Se hace camino al andar. Al andar se hace el camino. Y al volver la vista atrás se ve la senda que nunca se ha de volver a pisar. Caminante, no hay camino, sino estelas en la mar.
Now I'm realizing maybe I should have read it in English first. Crap. Thank you, Lindsay. Oh my God. After I read it in English, I'll get Rhonda up here and she'll read it in Spanish again. No. Okay, here we go. This is translated by Robert Bly. It's the same poem. You walking, your footprints are the road and nothing else. There is no road, walker. You make the road by walking. By walking, you make the road. And when you look backward, you see the path that you never will step on again. Walker, there is no road, only wind trails in the sea. Okay, this is called A Ritual to Read to Each Other, and it's by William Stafford. If you don't know the kind of person I am, and I don't know the kind of person you are, a pattern that others made may prevail in the world, and following the wrong God home, we may miss our star. For there is many a small betrayal in the mind, a shrug that lets the fragile sequence break, sending with shouts the horrible errors of childhood, storming out to play through the broken dike. And as elephants parade holding each elephant's tail, but if one wanders, the circus won't find the park. I call it cruel, and maybe the root of all cruelty, to know what occurs, but not recognize the fact. And so I appeal to a voice, to something shadowy, a remote, important region in all who talk. Though we could fool each other, we should consider, lest the parade of our mutual life get lost in the dark. For it is important that awake people be awake, or a breaking line may discourage them back to sleep. The signals we give, yes or no, or maybe, should be clear. The darkness around us is deep. Thanks. All right. Note found on Meditator by Anselm Hollow. War bonnets, horsemen, a waving forest of lances, a lovely sight, if you don't care for what they're attacking. It's John Wayne they're attacking. Okay, no problem. Beauty knows no ideologically correct routines. Beauty knows nothing at all. That's why she asks all these questions. Okay, this is my token poem that I actually wrote myself. It's called What? I don't know what to think, and I don't know what to think not, but I don't know what to think about, so I don't know what I don't know, but I don't. Whoa. I know what I know. And I so know about what I don't think. When I don't know, and I don't ink. Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
But she was more like a beauty queen from a movie scene. I said, don't mind, but what do you mean? I am the one who would dance on the floor and around. She said, I am the one who would dance on the floor and around. She told me her name was Billie Jean, and she caused a scene. Then every head turned with eyes that dream of being the one who would dance on the floor and around. And Mama always told me, be careful who you love, be careful what you do, till the lie becomes the truth. Hey, hey, Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl who claims that I am the one. But the kid is not my son. No, she says I am the one. But the kid is not my son. 40 days and 40 nights, love was on her side. But who can stand when she's in demand? Her schemes and plans. 'Cause we dance on the floor and around. So take my strong advice. Just remember to always think twice. You think twice. She told my baby we danced for 3. Then she looked at me. Showed a photo, but baby cried. His eyes were like mine. So we danced on the floor and around, baby. And people always told me, be careful what you do. Don't go around breaking young girls' hearts. But you came and stood right by me with a smell of sweet perfume. This happened much too soon. She called me to her room. Hey, hey, yo, Billie Jean is not my lover. Oh, she's just a girl who claims that I am the one. But the kid is not my son. No, 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 no. Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl who claims that I am the one. But the kid is not my son. She says I am the one, but the kid is not my son. She says I am the one, but the kid is not my son. Woo! Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl who claims that I am the one. But the kid is not my son. She says he's the one. She says he's the son. Billie Jean is not my lover. 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 I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I'ma get a scholarship to King's College. I probably shouldn't brag, but dag, I amaze and astonish. The problem is I got a lot of brains but no polish. I gotta holler just to be heard with every word. I drop knowledge, I'm a diamond in the rough.
shiny piece of gold, trying to reach my goal. My power of speech unimpeachable. Only 19, but my mind is older. These New York City streets getting colder. I shoulder every burden, every disadvantage I learned to manage. I don't have a gun to brandish. I walk these streets famished. The plan is to fan this spark into a flame. But damn, it's getting dark, so let me spell out my name. I am the A-M-E-X-A-N-T-E-R. We are meant to be a colony that runs independently. Meanwhile, Britain keeps spitting on us endlessly. Essentially, they tax us relentlessly. The King George turns around, runs a spending spree. He ain't never gonna set his descendants free, so there will be a revolution in this century. Enter me. He says in parentheses. Don't be shocked when your history book mentions me. I will lay down my life if it sets us free. Eventually, you'll see my ascendancy, and I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. It's time to take a shot.
I dream of life without the monarchy. The unrest in France will lead to anarchy. Anarchy, how you say, how you solve anarchy. When I might take my the other side, panicking with my shot.
Taylor's apprentice. I got y'all knuckleheads a local parentis. I'm joining the rebellion cause I know it's my chance to socially advance. Instead of sewing some pants, I'm gonna take a shot.
You'll never be truly free until those in bondage have the same rights as you and me. You and I, do or die. Wait till I sally in on a stallion with the 1st Black Battalion. Have another shot.
Penises, lower your voices. You keep out of trouble and you'll double your choices. I'm with you, but the situation is fraught. You've got to be carefully taught. If you talk, you're gonna get shot.
Bird, check what we got. Mr. Lafayette, hard rock like Lancelot. I think your pants look hot. Lawrence, I like you a lot. Let's hatch a plot blacker than the kettle calling the pot. What are the odds the gods will put us all in one spot? Popping a squad of conventional wisdom, like it or not. A bunch of revolutionary manumission abolitionists. Give me your position, show me where the ammunition is. Am I talking too loud? Sometimes I get overexcited. Shoot off at the mouth. I never had a group of friends before. I promise that I'll make y'all proud.
Let's get this guy in front of a crowd.
I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey yo, I'm just like my country. I'm not scrappy and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot.
Everybody sing.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah! Woo! Let him hear ya! Come on! Come on, shout to the rooftop! Shout to the rooftop! Come on! Let's go! Rise up when you're living on your knees. You rise up. Tell your brother that he's gotta rise up. Tell your sister that she's gotta rise up. When are these colonies gonna rise up? When are these colonies gonna rise up? When are these colonies gonna rise up? When are these colonies gonna rise up?
I imagine death so much it feels more like a memory. When's it gonna get me? In my sleep, 7 feet ahead of me. If I see it coming, do I run or do I let it be? Is it like a beat without a melody? See, I never thought I'd live past 20. Where I come from, some get half as many. Ask anybody why we living fast and we laugh. Reach for a flask, we have to make this moment last. That's plenty, scratch that. This is not a moment, it's the movement. Where all the hungriest brothers with something to prove went. Foes oppose us, we take an honest stand. We roll like Moses, claiming our promised land. And if we win our independence, is that a guarantee of freedom for our descendants? Or will the blood we shed begin an endless cycle of vengeance and death with no defendants? I know the action in the street is exciting, but Jesus, between all the bleeding and fighting, I've been reading and writing. We need to handle our financial situation. Are we a nation of states? What's the state of our nation? I'm past patiently waiting, I'm passionately smashing every expectation, every action's an act of creation. I'm laughing in the face of casualties and sorrow. For the first time I'm thinking past tomorrow, and I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. And yo, I'm just like my country, I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. We're gonna rise up, it's time to take a shot. We're gonna rise up, it's time to take a shot. We're gonna rise up, it's time to take a shot. It's time to take a shot. Time to take a shot. take a shot, a shot, a shot. Hey, yo, it's time to take a shot, time to take a shot. And I am not throwing away my shots.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality.
Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy, I need no sympathy.
Easy come, easy go, little high, little low.
Any way the wind blows doesn't really matter to me. To me. Mama, I just killed a man. Put a gun against his head. Pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life had just begun, but now I've gone and thrown it all away. Mama, I didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, 'cause nothing really matters. Too late, my time has come. Send shivers down my spine, body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody, I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth. Mama, I don't wanna die. I sometimes wish I'd never been born at all. I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo, 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 Figaro. I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me. He's just a poor boy from a poor family, sparing his life from this monstrosity. Easy come, easy go, will you let me go? Bismillah, we will not let you go. Let him go. Bismillah, we will not let you go. Let him go. Bismillah, we will not let you go. Let me go. We'll not let you go. Let me go. We'll not let you go. Let me go. Mamma mia, mamma mia. Let me go. Beelzebub has a devil put aside for me. For me. For me. So you think you can stone me and spit in my eye? So you think you can love me and leave me to die? Whoa, baby, can't do this to me, baby. Thank you.